Hey everybody, what is up? Welcome to MixLife episode 30. So today we're going to talk about shaken vape flavors and how to manage your steep times. Rick's here with me. Say
Hey, man.
hello. So just real quick to start the show off, no matter how you manage your steeping, right? The best way for you to manage your steep times is just to mix more than you need, like all the time. So one day a week, like I'll sit down and I'll just mix like probably twice or 1.5 times what I normally vape, knowing that at least some of that stuff is going to have to sit for like 2 or 3 weeks or a month before I get to it. So that way, like I always have more than I can possibly go through. So I never have to hit a situation where I'm like, oh shit, I don't have any juice. What can I vape right now? That's just the easiest way to work around like having to deal with like not having enough. And I know that some people don't have enough time to manage stuff that closely. So, just mix bigger batches of the stuff you really like, right? Like mix a huge 500 mil of whatever you need, like your daily whatever. That's something that's simple that you can go to all the time. That's always good. It doesn't have to be great, just something that will hold you over until your good stuff steeps or your projects, right? So you don't have to wait.
And then my big thing, if I'm doing like iteration testing on recipes, what I generally do is I will be a couple iterations ahead of what I'm actually sort of testing. I'll test something like at a shorter steep, like maybe 2-3 days if it needs a week, make some adjustments. And by the time, you're still going through all that testing, you have stuff that's been steeping your previous iterations, and you just kind of want to stay a little bit ahead of the curve on stuff like that.
Yeah, and if you don't have that one day, even if you just have 20 minutes a day, that's a 30 mil or 60 mil or 20 minutes is enough time to mix up 2 or 3 bottles of juice if you're even fairly well practiced, right? You crack open the ELR, knock in the percentages you want to put in and dump it all in there and shake it up and set it aside and then forget about it. So if you mix a bottle a day, I mean, unless you're vaping like with a TFV12 or something like that, right? Like should be good to go if you're mixing 30 or 60 a day and setting it aside so that you're always getting to something older.
Yeah, and it gets even oh, go for it.
No, go ahead first.
Okay, I was going to say it gets even easier if you actually know what you want to vape. If you actually know what you want to vape day to day, for God's sakes, make up a bottle of like a flavor base, and then you can just so much easier and quicker and stay ahead of your steep times that way.
Yeah, definitely. If you have like one recipe that you love every time, you can just make a flavor base of it, dump your 15% or 10% or whatever in your bottle, fill it up with VG and make it go. And you're good to go, right? Like, and you just set it aside for its whatever required steep time. But you mix it ahead of time, it's easy. Smoke Store asked what I think about homogenizers, or what we think about homogenizers. Now, what we think of as homogenizers is that they're really great. Real homogenizers are amazing, but real homogenizers that will actually achieve the goal of like an actual homogenized juice run between $2,500 and $10,000. They're incredibly expensive and not really applicable to DIY at all. If you're mixing professionally, absolutely. I have access to a lab grade homogenizer, but I do not own one. Vortexers work well, but for shaking, but that's all they really do is just shake it more than whatever, with less effort. You can shake it with your hand and get the same result and not spend $200 on it. I mean, unless you have tennis elbow, right? But yeah, homogenizers are great if you can afford one. But like they're, it's like $2,000. Any of the smaller ones that aren't the lab grade homogenizers, you might get an okay result, but typically even just the wand ones, like they're a little lacking. So you just shake it by hand and set it aside for 2 days and save yourself a couple grand. Like there's no reason to spend that kind of money on one.
Well, and then instead of like rigging up some sort of exotic shaking system or picking up like a vortex or anything, you can do amazing things if you just leave some headspace in your bottle. That's the single easiest way to get a good quick shake, is actually leaving headspace in your bottle.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. And if you're mixing in glass, I save some of the polycone caps that come on flavorings so that I don't have the extra dropper inside the bottle when I shake it. So it helps save space by not having that glass dropper inside of there. So just the polyphonic, like the round caps, you know what I'm talking about? I got some up here somewhere.
Yep.
Yeah.
I tend to just kind of like pour my juice right down my RDA, and so I just use cones because I don't like having to bust apart and mix and clean all of the actual droppers and stuff.
We could talk all day about hand mixers and all kinds of other ways to shake your juice and all that other stuff. I generally don't approve of most of those methods, not because they don't work or they're not good, but because it's a personal preference. For me, when you use a hand mixer or a blender, it may mix your liquid very well, but it also introduces a lot of air into your mix, which then escapes with your flavors in tow, right? So the air leaves the liquid and it takes the smallest molecules with it, and it changes the way it tastes. Some people can't tell, other people can, and I can definitely tell the difference. So definitely leave a little headspace in your bottles when you shake them. Like you can see here, I don't know if you can see the level on that or not, but the top of I just mixed this and shook it, and I left this much space at the top just to give that extra space when I shake it, and then I don't have to I don't need to do all that stuff with the hand mixer. And I just shook this for like 20 seconds maybe, and it's perfect. So I let it settle for a little bit, and then we talk about flavors that steep shortly. I mean, obviously, fruits are going to be at the top of that list. Fruits and florals need the least amount of steep time. Some creams, the lighter creams that aren't really heavy or eggy, they can work really well. Like fresh cream or meringue are pretty short steepers, but when you're starting to get into the heavier stuff like Vienna or Bavarian cream, they need a lot longer. And then things like vanilla custard take forever. Most tobaccos are pretty long, or at least a medium steep, a week or two at least, up to a month. What am I missing? Bakeries take a while. I don't know. Depends on the bakeries, but usually a week or 2 or 3. I don't do bakeries very often, so.
I actually really like citruses right off the shake, especially with like lemon flavors and stuff that tends to lose a lot of potency. A lot of my citrus stuff is just built to be a little bit intense and built to be like a really short steep.
Saying some of the EU producers are using a homogenizer with vacuum steeping. Yeah, that's great if you have like a full blown like lab production facility. But I obviously don't have that. I have a shitty 22 rifle in my hand. Like I can't check the bottles with my rifle, so I have to use my hand.
Well, don't forget about the stupid cats. You could just tape them onto the cats.
Right, and then just throw treats in the air, right? You'll be all right. Shindo likes to smuggle his juice like he smuggles his plums.
Good old plum smuggling Shindo.
Yeah, no, so I agree on citrus flavors. Citrus flavors are, I think, ideal fresh, especially with like pink guava. Man, pink guava, there's something about vaping pink guava like literally right after you shake it that's just magical. I could do it all day. I was gonna put pink guava in this shake and vape I just made, but I changed my mind.
Well, you're fucking up then. But yeah, with citrus flavors, the thing is, if you are going to do them fresh, they're a little bit on the intense side. But honestly, if I'm looking for citrus, I'm generally looking for something intense and a little bit harsh. So it's not that much of an issue. Ethyl maltol actually works surprisingly well in small percentages as a shake and vape to kind of tame some of that citrus throat hit too. Like 0.25% ethyl maltol on like a citrus heavy shake and vape actually makes it a whole lot more mellow.
No, I totally agree. Ethyl maltol can do a lot for shake and vapes in general. That was something I was going to get to later, but you beat me to it. So ethyl maltol, what it does is it can mute some of the higher top notes, the ones that we perceive as harsh, or give you that little bit of throat hit that you maybe aren't after. So it works really well with citrus flavors. But the problem is that if you're not going to shake and vape it and it's going to sit on your shelf for a week or two, then it can kind of trash your flavors too. So, obviously use a little caution there if you think that flavor is going to be around for a while, but definitely
And if you're trying to build anything sour, generally, if it's on the sour side of things, if you're using any kind of like malic or citric acid or like Sour Wizard by FA, generally you want to set those up for like a 2-3 day steep max before it absolutely fucking wreaks havoc on the rest of the juice too.
Yeah, so sour flavors are definitely good the first 3 days, but maybe not so much after like 4 or 5 days or a week. There are some recipes that like I think are really only good in the first week, and then they tend to steep off, and that's okay too. Like if you know for a fact that you're going to vape a flavor in a week, it's okay to like jack up the percentages to get a bold flavor and go for it, right? But don't expect it to taste good in 2 weeks. Hang on. GSR says, I find that shake and vape juices are a waste for me. At any given time, I'll have 20 mixes to vape. I really vape any 130 ml mix in a couple of days. And I'm the same way. I generally don't do shake and vapes very often. This month for me has been particularly busy, so finding time to manage my inventory has been a little more difficult. So I have leaned on the shake and vape theory, but it's something that's been coming up a lot, and with or that I've just kind of seen like browsing through the groups and stuff. I was going to do a poll, but the last 2 weeks, like the only people that responded were like Dave and maybe one other person every time. So maybe I'll put a poll up next week.
Shindo says, when you nail that sour wild melon bubble gum, you're going to go through 30 milliliters that in 2 days. And that's the thing. Like, it all depends on how you want to vape. If you're a bakery person, yeah, mix ahead. If you want sour, bright juices, then sure. I mean, fuck it. You don't need that much actual pre-planning for that kind of stuff.
No, you really don't. But if you have a lot of flavors that you enjoy, like bakeries or tobaccos or custards, and you want, but like I've seen a lot of people talking about how they're shaking and vaping like Cabela's vanilla custard at 5 or 6%, and I'm like, well, there's no way you're getting the most out of your flavor there. Now, if you like it, then that's great, but
don't expect anybody else to.
Well, I'm not gonna go and mix a recipe that has like 6% vanilla custard, and then I'm gonna vape it that day, and I'm not gonna think that it's good. Like, I'm gonna think that it's terrible. Now, if I sit it for a week or two, I might, change my mind. Probably not, because I don't really like Cabela's vanilla custard that much anyways, but unless there's a lot of bourbon in there or something like that.
Just actual bourbon too, like not the flavoring, just actual bourbon in there.
Yeah, no, for sure. Actual bourbon. Maker's Mark right in my RDA. Excuse me. I'm actually more of a Buffalo Trace guy anyways. Right. So yeah, I feel like people that have like favorite flavors that are like bakeries and custards probably don't struggle as much with having to wait on their steep times as often as people that really liked fruits to begin with anyways, because then they develop like those good steeping habits or good mixing habits.
Yeah, because they're absolutely screwed if they run out of like their super thick custard and they don't have anything mixed up. Me, I'm just like, screw it, let's grab some mint. Good enough.
Like, when we first released our first round of recipes at Chefs, like I thought everybody hated it, and then people were like, oh, I just tried your recipe, it's been sitting for 3 months, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize anybody was buying it because nobody said anything, but they were all just letting it steep forever because they were just so used to steeping like their custards and bakeries. And my first Chefs releases were bakeries, so like I was just used to people not taking the time, so that was pretty cool. 3% pink guava, Shindo. Did you see that, Rick?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad at 3%.
It's violent. It's violent at 3%. Is what it is. It's good.
I think it's one of those that kind of, it works fairly well at a higher percentage. I think it's a lot like the elderflower, like that. Like, you can use it at a low percentage, but there's actually a little bit more body to it. But fuller if you go ahead and start like cranking up percentages to crazy amounts.
I've done it at 3% with ethyl maltol. Bot Boy, when pink guava first came out, that was like, he went crazy about it on Reddit, like super crazy. He was just like, "This is all I'm going to vape forever." It's 3% pink guava and 3% ethyl maltol. You just shake and vape it.
He also had that recipe that used Flavora's lychee at a fairly high percentage with that. I've tried that.
I think it was like 2% or something. It was violent. It was really high. It's terrifying.
And then like a little bit of Innoware's raspberry all at the same time, and it's an intense recipe.
Subvapes just asked about Innoware's licorice. I haven't tried their licorice. Have you tried it?
I have not.
I don't have it. I have Flavor West black licorice. I think it's the only black licorice, actual black licorice I have.
I have Black Touch by Flavor Art, which is really cool.
I really like Black Touch because it's so much milder.
It's almost like a licorice tea kind of flavor, like it's an herbal licorice.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's way softer. Like Flavor West is like a really bright candy, and it's thick and syrupy, which is super good. I don't know about Innoware's licorice, and as far as what I'd use it in is I'd probably put it in the centerpiece and something else kind of herbal, maybe like with like some root beer or sassafras, and I'd probably get pretty done with it. Or dandelion and burdock goes really well with licorice. But I think Rick and I are the only two people that actually vape dandelion and burdock, so
they discontinued it.
maybe in the whole country. So Decadent Vapors discontinued it, and we were the only customers that bought it anyways.
If anybody is a fan of dandelion and burdock, Chef's does have a Yummy Range dandelion and burdock that's a little bit more black licorice to me than the Decadent Vapors one, but it's passable.
So, an important thing to think about when you're putting together shake and vape recipes is to keep it as simple as possible. The most successful shake and vape recipes are just like 2 or 3 flavors, like the kind that aren't even really worth publishing. I have a ton of shake and vape recipes that I just never publish because it doesn't take that much effort to think that 1.5% Flavor Art raspberry and 2% Flavor Art pear are perfect every time. Like, and they're great and they're awesome right off the bat. You know, and you could throw a little something else in there this time or not this, not the next time or whatever. Like, it's a pretty malleable format. Shake and vape fruits are like that. You could just do kind of whatever, But the number of flavorings definitely affects how good it's going to be fresh, right? Like, if you dump a ton of stuff in there, it's going to get weird, and then it's going to need time for it to like all settle together. Lorenz Lemonade is probably one of my favorite like shake and vape bases. Like, I could just do like 5 or 6% Lorenz Lemonade and 3% in almost anything else, any other fruit, and it's good to go. I'm a fan of Lorenz Lemonade and their watermelon. Like, I could just shake and vape those all day long with just about any combination.
So just head on down to your local craft store.
We got to get the colorless versions. The craft store doesn't have the colorless versions. They have those evil colored versions.
Well, if you're vaping stuff from the craft store, I have a feeling food dye is the least of your worries.
Hazel Blue's asking for some ELR usernames. My name is Kopel, Kopel. I'll see if I can get some links.
I am one of those assholes who's just on all the flavors as Concrete River.
Some vapes, Decadent Vapors had the best dandelion and burdock, but they discontinued it. Rick has been testing there's a version on Chef's in the Yummy range. If you just look at the very end, there's like a blank. Yes, Hazel, you got it right. There's a blank thing at the end of the Yummy range where it just says like Yummy range 100 mils, and it's got a drop-down menu where you can select the flavor you want in your 100 mil. And it's got Chef's there. I'll just do if I do the screen share, it's going to do that weird thing again, right? It's going to. That's all right. We'll do it. Are you ready? We're going to go. Whoa. All right. So
everybody's strapped in for this.
Chef's flavors. Let's see if we get it to load. And we're going to one short concentrates down to, where's the Yummy range? Here we go. Their site's been kind of slow the last day or two. And you just come down to the end. See here, it's got the blank Yummy range, 100 mils. And then they have like a range that you can select here. And then they have dandelion and burdock right there. Last item's in stock, so you better get it soon. And you can order me one too and send it to me. Thanks, buddy. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Stop sharing. There we go. Is that better?
Yep, and it's definitely not bad. I'm a little bit spoiled by Decadent Vapors, but it's definitely not bad, especially for the pricing on 100 milliliters of it. I've been using it up around 6 or 8%, and like I said, it has a little bit more black licorice than the original, but it's pretty solid.
Hey, my camera didn't do that crazy thing where it reverts to the Death Star behind me if I switch it off for a second to do that.
I'm disappointed.
I'm disappointed too. I'm sad about it. Dave's here. What's up, Dave? You didn't really miss anything. We're just talking about flavors that are good as a shake and vape. What did I miss in chat here? Did I miss anything exciting? Favorite tobacco creamy flavors? Well, I don't usually put the tobacco and creamy flavors hand in hand. My favorite tobaccos are probably Red Burley, Kentucky Blend, and Tatanka right now from Flavora, or Flavor Arts Soho. I guess is kind of creamy, and then I really like Flavor Arts Burley as well. It's pretty good. Wow, Graham, that's a lot of tags. Thank you. Hello.
Yeah, if you are going to be mixing creams and tobaccos, generally you want to avoid anything that actually tastes too milky or creamy. Buttery is fine, eggy is okay, but yeah, like avoid your dairy milks of the world with tobaccos.
Yeah, and you don't want anything malty because they get weird and sour. Like yogurt or something crazy like that. Somebody was talking about that the other day. They're like, I want to try yogurts in a tobacco vape, and I'm like, on a scale of 1 to Wiz Khalifa, how high are you right now? Because I feel like it's a bad idea. I don't remember who it was, so I can't obviously call them out. I probably wouldn't anyways, because that's just me. But
yeah, for the love of God, no yogurt tobaccos, please.
I think it was somebody in one of the chefs groups or something. Whoa, what is that? Found it for $1.49 on Vapable. Nice. Also check that out. Vapable is another site from the UK. I'm not sure what the deal is there. GSR has butter cookies in the queue. Oh, I hope you like it, man. It's pretty simple. It's a short steeper too. Like it's good in like 3 days, usually 4 days. Because Capella sugar cookies is the only thing, and golden butter are the only things that really need to steep. But they don't need to steep that long. I think it's pretty good in 3 or 4 days. I hope you enjoy it. So today I just mixed up a quick shake and vape right before the show because I don't know. I just wanted to test the theory about how complex you can go. So this is 4 flavors. It's Flavor Art Pear, Flavor Art Raspberry, the new Flavor Art Juicy Strawberry, and Pomegranate. And I take that back. There's also Black Currant. So it's all Flavor Art. Let's see.
So what do you think of that Juicy Strawberry?
I really like it. I was surprised by it. Being a non-strawberry taster, or somebody who struggles with strawberries anyways. Like Shisha Strawberry and Flavor Arts Regular Strawberry were the only 2 that I could taste consistently and without any struggles. I can taste Alpine Strawberry, but it's so soapy, like most of the time. Like I really struggle with it. So Shisha Strawberry was like pretty much my only like strawberry flavor that I actually could vape regularly and enjoy. But after like 6 hours or so, I couldn't taste it at all. So far, I've been able to taste it pretty consistently. I did a single flavor test, and then I did a test with just honeysuckle and lime. I think it's pretty good. It's probably one of my favorite new flavors to come out. I mean, it's still just a strawberry, and how exciting is that? It's good, but I still hear a few people having problems tasting it, but not nearly as many.
Well, I just back of the hand tasted it because I ordered a bottle, and I'm not too hopeful that I'm going to be able to taste it. It tastes a little bit green to me, like most strawberries. I usually just get strawberry tops off of strawberries, and that definitely tastes similar. But obviously, I'm going to have to actually mix it like not an idiot before I make any judgments.
I get a bit of a green like stem vibe from it, but it's not as bad as like Alpine just tastes like all green and soap to me.
Well, I can taste Alpine loud and clear, but I can also taste Wild Strawberry by Inawera loud and clear, and I don't really dig either of those. So I think that like weird aggressive green strawberry flavor comes through for me, but I'm not a huge fan either way.
It's a good strawberry. It's reliable. It's solid. Obviously, like this, I don't think I'm still getting like, I'm not blown away by it, but I mean, for a strawberry flavor, for me, like it's good that I can taste it. Like it's just nice to have, like, be able to taste a strawberry in a simple fruit mix and be good with that. Like I'm not gonna go like balls deep on the next fucking strawberry and cream or anything crazy like that. And I see you there. Subvape said last week we gave him suggestions for a cold pineapple mix, and he liked it. So that's good. I'm glad you liked it, dude.
I don't even remember that, so we must have done a great job.
Yeah, somebody. Was that you? Or was it me? I don't remember.
I don't know.
It might have been both of us. It's still, I think it's a really excellent strawberry, and I mean, it stands up to all the other offerings, and it's not crazy expensive. So I mean, it's worth having in your arsenal, I think. And I think that some people are definitely going to like it more than others, but to avoid going full hype train, like it's a good strawberry, but I don't, it's not the best thing I've ever tasted in my whole life. It's pretty good though.
Yeah, I might end up being with Mr. Burgundy here. Just shake and vape. I basically don't taste it, so who knows?
Yeah, weird. I mean, maybe it's just because I liked their regular strawberry, the red touch or whatever. But I could only taste it for about half an hour, and then it's gone. So I think my inability or my struggles with tasting strawberries are just a maltol sensitivity, or it's just related to olfactory fatigue. I do get vapor stung like super easy, so.
So blasting hot flavor at your face for an hour with strange stuff probably doesn't help that out much.
I have to vape everything really cool. I can't do like super hot builds. Even this build is a 0.3 ohm like Clapton. It's pretty huge and it could run super hot, but I used it at like 32 watts, so it's like pretty normal. Really condensed flavor, but it's not super hot.
Yeah, I have to say, after trying the juicy strawberry, Health Cabin sweet corn is still my hype flavor of the month. Sweet corn? Yeah, still my hype flavor of the month.
So I think my hype flavor is actually something that's a really pretty big departure from my normal. It's the first time. So Rage sent me aged bourbon cream from Real Flavors like 2 weeks ago or something. And I made some right away with just a little bit of VBIC. And I was like, fuck, I need more of this in my life. It's the first time I've ever like gotten a tester sample of something and then had to like turn around and buy a 30 mil like that day. It's super duper good. It's a really good bourbon note with like a nice like kind of Devon cream style like background. It's not as thick or dense as Devon cream, but it's got that sort of dark cream background. I think it's really super good. I really like it a lot. But it's not a weird flavor. I actually haven't really ordered any stuff that's super out there lately. I think probably because I have them all already, or most of them. Maybe I'll just start vaping Flavor West Capsicum again.
Yeah, I'm still not getting much off that juicy strawberry, and I just like actually gave a shit and put it directly on a coil. So I think it might not be working for me.
Bummer jam. The strawberry struggle is real, right?
I've lived this long without strawberries. I'm pretty sure that I'll be okay.
Right. I mean, there's always flavor at raspberry, which is probably the best fruit in existence. So.
Yeah, no, I'm good as long as you don't take my flavor at raspberry. I'm solid.
This is pretty good. The strawberry is not really coming through in the mix, though. I think maybe I didn't use enough, but it doesn't hold up to raspberry at all. Like it doesn't. The raspberry just pretty much pushed it out of the mix completely. I like how blackcurrant and raspberry work together, though. To kind of like, it reminds me like if you use harvest berry correctly, you know, and not too much of it. Like that's kind of the vibe I get from it. I think that maybe that's the thing, and like that I have never been able to identify in harvest berries, blackcurrant.
I
It's
still
like,
have never tried harvest berry, and Shindo just got on me about that.
oh really? It's really good. It's like forest fruit and FA raspberry had babies.
Okay, like when you describe it like that, I'm into it. Other people are saying it tastes like squeaky, and I'm just like, okay.
Well, if you take it too high, because I think it has Capella's, it's got some of the same volatiles as Capella's blackberry, so it kind of suffers from some of the same. If you take it too high, like it gets perfumey and weird. And the same from raspberry too. Flavor Arts raspberry. If you take it too high, like it gets really perfumey and kind of weird. So harvest berry is really super good if you use it under 3%. I think some people like to use it higher. There was a recipe called like Luma or something crazy like that that used harvest berry and forest fruit both at like obscene levels, and I thought that it would be disgusting, but it wasn't. It kind of tasted like Great Big League Chew, and not at all like a bunch of mixed fruits.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing Dave try that on Noted on their bubblegum episode.
It's a really weird recipe, Luma is, but it's really good. Yeah, Luma. But yeah, definitely harvest berry is super good if you keep it low. It's really medicinal if you take it over 2 or 3%. Hang on.
It's a good. Babe's posted up that pineapple recipe.
Oh, did he? I want to look at it. Where is it?
I don't know. I love all those. Yeah, I love all those flavors. I don't have percentages on them, but he has golden pineapple, jackfruit, pineapple by Inawera, super sweet, some sweet coconut, and W is 23.
Oh shit! Yeah, that sounds pretty solid.
I'd fuck with that.
I would too. Yeah, if you ever decide to publish that recipe, let me know. So Vape, so send a link to you. So the cool thing about WS23 is that you can add it to like literally every fucking fruit. Like it doesn't matter. I can't think of a fruit that it wouldn't go well with. Can you?
No, you're pretty much good.
Yeah, like any berries, anything, man. Apples, oranges, you name it, dude. It's gonna be good probably. How does Rory live? Like he goes through like a gallon of Inawera creme brulee every day, but he's never tried harvest berry or forest fruit. Like too tall, you're killing me here.
Shindo wants to make the height flavor of the month Flavora grape. I have no issue with that.
Yeah, I can't complain about that. Flavora grape is pretty good. And it's a really good shake and vape flavor too. It kind of fits our theme for the day. Like, it's pretty good fresh. It's got like that kind of like grape juice just bordering on like undiluted concentrate. It's like grape juice out of the can before you add water, you know? Or like Kool-Aid, yeah, that's just super thick. Like the Kool-Aid that you make in the South where it's still kind of crunchy when you drink it.
Oh yeah, the extra sweet kind. Deadman's asking have you tried Jungle Flavors Forest Mix yet?
Yeah, I've tried it. It's pretty good. I think it's closer to forest fruit than harvest berry as far as the blend goes. Some people said that the strawberry was really forward in it to them, but I don't pick up any strawberry at all. It's just kind of like a good like dark berry blend. I used it pretty low. I didn't really mess with it too much because I only had like a 10 ml sample. I have some somewhere, but I don't know where it is right now, and I'm not gonna get up and get it.
Yeah, I haven't tried JS Forest Mix because I don't need another box coated with flavoring when one of the lids from e-cig explodes.
That's fair. Honest, real talk. It could be. I mean, I don't know. I've suspected that about some of the jungle flavor stuff, like it being an actual one shot of other flavors, but I don't think so because I don't get like Flavor West raspberry and their strawberry are kind of funky and perfumey, like all their candy flavors are. Kind of like not as bad as their hard candy, but the same kind of vibe. So not quite nail polish remover, but you're getting there. And I don't get that from Jungle Flavors Harvest to the Forest Mix yet. Rory, check out my harvest cheesecake on all the flavors. Yeah, Flavor West Blackberry is pretty good.
It's surprisingly good, actually. I've really come to like Flavor West's Blackberry.
I think it's the best Blackberry, besides Capella's. Maybe I guess right up there with it.
If I was gonna buy one Blackberry, it would be Flavor West's Blackberry.
Yeah, I haven't used enough of it. I guess maybe to really make the comparison between the two. And blackberry is one of my favorite flavors too. What's up, Emily? We're doing well. We're doing well. Well, I'm doing well.
I'm doing fantastic.
S blackberry beats. POS or Doomtree. There we go. You need some Doomtree in your life, Shindo. Go
Absolutely
download.
Nothing but Doomtree.
Just go download all of Doomtree's albums and all of their solo projects, and you'll never need music again in your life. Yeah, you should. I think you'd like it, Rory. Harvestberry is super good. What are we forgetting? Shaken vapes. What are some bakeries that are shaken vapes? We have some bakeries we can that you can shake and vape besides Cancer Cake.
I don't know. Like, I always feel a little bit filthy putting in recipe plugs, but my Dogma recipe that came out for the last DIY or Die mixers competition was actually kind of an attempt to make a layered shake and bake bakery, and I think it turned out pretty well. It's like a almond Danish kind of thing using Zeppela. Here, I'll link the actual recipe for it. But if you're in the market for something that's shake and vape and actually a layered bakery, it's pretty cool. It's actually pretty adaptable too. I have a couple variations of it posted up. If you add like 0.25% AP to it, it gets a lot more solid, and you get a pretty solid base to play with fruits and stuff.
Yeah, I should check that out again. I think I made it when you first released it, but that's been a while.
Yeah, like I said, like ruthless self-promotion or whatever, but I do have a blueberry version of it up using Edible Malfunction's trio of blueberries called Loop Guru or Blue Dog. That's actually, I think, pretty solid, and it only needs about 3 days.
Let's see what I got here. I don't know what I even have for shake and vapes. I have a cheesecake that's pretty close to shake and vape, but
yeah, shake and vapes and bakeries is kind of tricky.
Yeah, and bakeries and creams are just tricky.
Oh shit! Chris Drake had me beat. I was looking up the link. He's already got it up there.
That guy is fast, man. He's quick.
He's on fire.
Here, Rory. Here's that cheesecake recipe. I'll send it. I'll put it up there real quick. For Rory, since we're talking about harvestberry so much. It was actually like my first recipe ever. Like my first ever, like whatever.
It's how you popped your recipe cherry.
It is. It was like the first recipe I ever like started working on seriously, kind of. And I don't even like cheesecakes that much, but my girlfriend was like crazy about Caps New York cheesecake when I first got it. So there's that. I
think my first recipe that I ended up mixing up more than once was like 4% Capella's vanilla whipped cream and like 2% FA raspberry, and I still don't think I've done much better than that.
You can't really top it. I think FA raspberry just carries. It carries everything. Like you can't make a bad recipe if there's 2% FA raspberry in it.
It's impossible.
It's pretty difficult. You would have to try really hard to screw it up.
I did once. I added like 0.25% Flavor Arts blackberry. That screwed it up real quick.
Yeah, I like their flavor, but you have to like dilute it to 10% and then use it at less than 0.5%. So like 0.05%. And then it's all right. Then it's pretty good, but it's really hard to manage because it is like stupidly potent.
It's more useful for poisoning water supplies than actually mixing with.
Could be. We got some suggestions here. Cap cinnamon Danish swirl. I don't like that fresh at all. I think it's kind of gooey and plasticky fresh, although it's decent later. But it's not bad. 027. I actually just got it the first time, so I haven't messed with it yet, but I'm gonna. Shindo said sweet rice is pretty great for a shake and vape bakery. I'm not sure that if I count like sweet rice as an actual bakery, but it's pretty close. It's got some of the bakery kind of vibe to it, and I do agree that it's pretty good shake and vape. And
it's only going to get worse after the shake and vape.
It's super good fresh, but it does steep kind of weird and gets like, what's the right word? Like not malty, but I'm not sure how to describe it.
Dave has called it a tortilla flavor after 5 days.
Yeah, it does get kind of like a tortilla vibe to it. It is amazing fresh. I love it fresh, but I just haven't figured out anything to use it for in like a steeped finalized recipe yet. It does pretty good at adding like some weird kind of like depth to like yogurts and puddings, so that it's more like ultra stupid thick. But um, I don't know. It's not. It's good fresh. I like it fresh, but I never let it last more than a day or two because then it gets weird.
Have we discussed Inawera custard off a shake? So it's pretty widely known at this point. If you need thickness right off a shake, Inawera custard's a great cheat for that.
And too much of it.
Yeah, just way too much. Like you don't even want the recipe to hold up after 3 days. But
if you think that you know that 2% is a reasonable amount, use 3% instead. And isn't that what they were talking about in the Discord the other day?
Yeah, they were talking about it being the competition concentrate.
The competition concentrate, because you can just like dump a shitload of it in there and it's good. Like it's really good fresh. I don't know what it does with this steep, but it is super good fresh.
But none of those competition recipes ever make it to a steep, so it doesn't matter.
Exactly, right? So if you're just shaking vaping, Inawera custard is your best friend. And I think creme brulee kind of fits in there too. Like it's really good fresh.
Yeah.
Definitely. So those are some bakery types or heavy creams that you can use to get freshness fresh right out of the way.
Devon cream seems like it's pretty decent off a shake too.
The Devon cream is super good off the shake. It gets a lot more depth after it's steeped for a while. Like gets darker and the butter kind of fades to like this sort of like almost like butterscotch or caramel. Like that really dark brown sugar kind of caramelized sugar kind of vibe. It's super thick though. I love Devon cream. Shout out to Devon cream again, like I do every show. Buy that shit. You need it. I need it to be a thing in the US so that more than one fucking place will carry it. So I need you guys to buy it until by popular demand it's everywhere.
Shout out to Devon cream. It's dark as hell. It's a little spooky, but there we go.
It's so good. It's super good. And Flavor Art Raspberry is the best shake. It's the Shake and Vape King. Like you can't get any better.
Devon cream, Inawera custard, and FA raspberry. Boom. There's your Shake and Vape.
I should make that shit right now. That sounds pretty good, man. Yeah, Devon cream. You can buy it at OSDIY. It's by Cupcake World, or Chef's Choice carries it in their rebranded range. I'm trying to find my bottle of it, but I think I left it somewhere while I was working, and now I don't know what I did with it. Oh, it's right here. Right.
Somewhere in the wastes.
Somewhere dark and spooky. OSDIY or Chef's carries Devon cream. Or you could order it direct from Cupcake World, but you probably don't want to do that. It's a pain in the ass. Taro. TPA Taro is weird.
Have we gone so far down the rabbit hole that taro is now a thing?
It just came up, and Hall just asked Dave about it, but I was reading. Look at Chris with the links, man. You're so fast, dude. Like, I feel like I should pay you for how quick you are with the links. You're faster than we are.
I mean, we're not going to pay you, but we appreciate it.
I just feel like I should. Yeah, I don't have any money to pay you, but I'll pay you with love, and I don't know. I'll say nice things about you on your wedding day. He's probably already married. I don't know.
Oh, and he has a one-stop DIY link up there now, too. Now you're just showing off, man.
Yeah, he's just showing off now.
Showboating.
Showboating. Right on. What other shake and vape favorites have I missed on? You know, there's a lot of really simple ideas, you know, that you can use to like pay you in floral recipes. Get off of my florals, Roy. They're mine. You can't have them.
Somebody out there is willing to pay upwards of $17 per floral recipe.
Right. Payments not required. I'm divorced years ago. Oh, well, congratulations, buddy.
Well, she doesn't know what she's missing out on.
Yeah. Oh, she probably does. She probably does. I smell a salty story. I'm kidding. I don't mean that. Oh, yeah. Wild melon is a super duper good. If you're into melons, I like that as a shake and vape. I actually like it better fresh. After like 3 days, it like tones down almost too much. Have you tried wild melon very much? Flavora's wild melon, Rick?
Yeah, it's one of those that I've always meant to actually single flavor test, but I've just been dutifully actually adding it randomly to various things, and it always works out really well. It's a really solid flavor.
It's a super solid flavor, but it doesn't last long enough. Like it fades a bit for me. So like maybe I'm just not using enough of it. I don't know.
Look at Dave showing off by never shaking vaping anything.
By never shaking vaping. Yeah, look at this guy. Mr. I have all the time in the world.
Look at me. I have my life put together and don't end up running out of juice I actually want to vape.
No, there's not very many things that aren't improved by an overnight steep. We're just talking about flavors that like require less time management than the bakeries and creams and things like that. I mean, really, ideally, you should refer to the beginning of this video where I tell you all that you need to make more effective use of your time and just mix your shit ahead of time.
Just be better.
Just be better people. Okay? That's what I want to tell you the most. Be better people. I had like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure level speech planned for this, but it's gone now. It's gone. I forgot the whole thing.
It just, all of the inspiration just evaporated.
Yeah, it's all gone. Chris has got this recipe that's been on his list to make. Wild Man Camp Peach. Ooh. That is a lot of Flavora. Actually seems pretty reasonable still, but the recipe that Chris Drake just linked is 1.5% Flavora Cantaloupe, 3% Mango, 2% Peach, and 1% Wild Melon. It looks pretty reasonable. I guess it'd probably be a bit better as a shaken vape. 8% total Flavora, 7.5% seems kind of high. But for a shaken vape, I mean, I'm sure it's probably fine. And none of those look like they're reaching way too far. Well, it can't be any worse than all those pickle recipes, Dave.
Shout out to Hate Vaping.
Hate Vaping, Dave's pickle recipes. I dodged all the pickle bullets, so I vaped 0 pickles. I
can send you a pickle recipe if you really want one. I do still have some one-on-one pickle.
I don't have an atomizer to sacrifice to the pickle gods.
It's not that bad, actually. I can't say anything out loud, but I think you may be on to something with the next one here. So,
oh, he's got a sneaky one here. Hazel's
okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, he's already said it. Okay, his new one is actually pretty solid, and I'll send you a bottle of it. It's interesting. It's definitely interesting.
A new pickle recipe. Well, my policy for releasing recipes is that if I vape a whole 30 mil of it and I don't get sick of it or throw the bottle across the room at some point, then I usually release it. It might not be the best thing ever. Like, I don't release every recipe expecting it to be like the newest hype flavor or whatever. It's the market or the industry, right? The DIY community, we're already oversaturated to the point of ridiculousness where in order to remain innovative or ahead of the game, you have to release shit like pickles. No offense, Dave. I don't think you're doing it to stay relevant. I think you actually really love pickle that much, which is weird. But in order to still stand out, like you got to do ridiculous shit, right? And I don't have time for that all the time, right? At least not right now. So
you're a busy man with no time to develop pickle recipes.
I got no time for pickles. All right. Pexified is missing a flavor. What the fuck?
I know, right? It's like hearing that Santa Claus isn't real.
I think Pexified is the only person that I know that is as bad as or worse than I am. I'm not really sure which. I lost count of flavors like a year ago, so I'm not sure how many I have, but I know he's got like 1,200 or something crazy like that, right?
He did tell me that his bottle of Perique ate itself, and he couldn't mix up my my grilled peaches, mascarpone, and honey thing because of it.
Oh shit! I just got the new. I just got a new bottle of Perique because mine was old and it didn't taste like anything. It was weird. It didn't taste like Perique though.
Yeah, I don't see how I'm ever going to use more than a milliliter of that, and I've been making a lot of that grilled peaches recipe.
No, I hear you, Dave. Like you just want to make the you want to make it work. Like I get that. I get on tangents like that sometimes, but lavender was a really like a kind of a tough dragon to chase when it first came out because like or when I first got a hold of it like 3 years ago or something. Because it's funky to work with and not have it taste like laundry soap. But now I've chased down all the florals and I'm out of florals to chase. So there's nothing new in the floral department for a while.
Yeah, Flavorous Cherry Blossom. You knock yourself out with that one.
I feel like it wasn't that difficult to chase though. It balances pretty easily. It's probably one of their weaker offerings as far as like hibiscus. You know, when I got hibiscus, like it's ridiculously strong and it's probably harder to work with by a long shot. I'd rather work on making that work with something, even though it just tastes like green.
But green. Like, yeah, just straight green, like a pile of green.
Yeah, it's like it tastes like lawn clippings, kind of. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I don't have anything else as far as flavors. Got any last minute questions that aren't about pickles? That's a pickle has taken over the chat.
Questions, insults, diatribes, any of that?
Any requests for Rick to eat something with his shirt off again?
I'm not prepared for that today. Shopping trips involved with that.
I totally hate vape my mixes usually. Sometimes I give up and leave them downstairs for my girlfriend to find and think she got away with something. Right, like she snuck my bottle of whatever, but I was just getting rid of stuff I didn't want to vape anymore.
I have an entire bin of half empty testers generally, and all of the like every single bottle manages to have juice on the outside, so it's just like an entire bin of half vaped stuff that I have no idea what the labels actually say anymore. If I get really desperate, I'll go to that occasionally. But.
Chris, he asked if any bets on how many more Wonder Flavor super concentrates are on the way. He seems like he's kind of on a roll lately, and he's been like kicking them out 10 at a time pretty fast. So I'd be willing to bet that his line starts to dwarf the old line pretty soon. I'd say he gets another 20 in before the end of the year. Uh-oh. Rick turned his camera off, so something fucking crazy is about to happen, I think. Sub-vapes, I don't know. That's Carl's recipe, I'm pretty sure. I have no idea what's in it. It's not one of mine. I don't think I've ever even actually tried it. 65 new Wonder Flavors method? Holy shit. I really like some of them. I haven't had the chance to test them all, and I haven't had the chance to steep them all, so I don't want to say anything negative before I give them the time to test. 65 is a lot, though, so I guess I was way undershooting it when I said 30. I figured 20 or 30 more before the end of the year since it's getting on, but 65 is a ton. That is a lot. How's it going, Joel? Good to see you. Rick is back. I hear his sound has clicked back on. Something weird about there it goes.
Shout out to Vlasic. No, not Vlasic. Clausen. Those are the good ones. Have some of the half kosher dills here.
There you go, guys. There's Dave topless eating a pickle. That's the way to end the show, I think.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Yeah, I think Carl's the only one that mixes up MFIC at the shop. I don't know. You have to ask him. But you could probably shoot them a message on their website, Subvapes, and see when they're getting it back in. They're usually pretty responsive. I'm going to stop talking now, though, so Dave can eat up the last 10 minutes eating his pickle live on camera.
No, let's keep this going. Let's keep the questions coming.
Oh, my goodness. I've been finding MixLife nicotine to be really peppery.
I mean, I don't mess with bad nicotine, man. I don't got time for that. I just generally spend the extra couple bucks and get something I know is going to be good.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have some MixLife and it's fine. I bought it when I was broke, and I Like I needed nicotine, but I didn't have any money. But I haven't hardly used it. It was okay, but it's still not Carolina Extract or Vapor Tech. Like Vapor Tech isn't so much more expensive that it's not worth the money. So I would definitely get Vapor Tech or Carolina Extract if I can. And I know that it's a little pricier for some people, but I think it's worth the money. For sure. The crunch sound it's pretty potent. Man, that is crisp. That is one crisp pickle.
Dude, I'm telling you, Clausen makes, like, if you're not buying your pickles out of the refrigerator section, you're fucking up because these are totally next level from, like, the shelf stable stuff.
I just use Vape Clarity. Doesn't everyone have some in the freezer still? I still have like 250 mils left of Vape Clarity that I stashed from myself. It's still pretty good, though. A gallon of $180. Well, I don't have any need. A gallon would last me like a year or more because I don't sell it. So, what's the best pineapple? And looking good, Rick. Brenda likes it. I don't know about the best pineapple. I guess Inawera pineapple or Capella's golden pineapple. It's kind of a toss-up depending on what I'm using it for or what I'm trying to build. Flavora's pineapple is a decent choice too, but I think I still like Capella's a little better. Inawera's. Can I have a quick scan of pineapple flavor cooler? Let's see if I can find it, bud.
Also, what the hell kind of measure is 1.5 mason jars? Like a mason jar is a product and not like a specific milliliter measure. I'm just saying.
You know, 6% Capella's golden pineapple, 0.5% TPA jackfruit, 2% Inawera pineapple, 0.5% super sweet, 1% sweet coconut, and 2% WS23. That all seems like it's within reason. I've never taken Capella's golden pineapple that high, but if it's working for you, I don't have any negative critique there. It looks pretty good, man. For a straightforward pineapple, like cold pineapple with a little bit of coconut finish. I love the Flavora sweet coconut, so I think it's looks like a pretty strong recipe, man. Inawera, I do agree that Inawera pineapple is pretty weak. It's probably the weakest Inawera flavor there is.
Inawera's pineapples are mystifying. So Inawera pineapple is a really good pineapple flavor, but it's like strangely weak. Inawera's raw pineapple is like a fresh raw pineapple with a whole helping of just anise on there. And then their shisha pineapple tastes like a pretty decent pineapple, except it's rolled around in garlic powder, which is bizarre.
I haven't tried their raw pineapple yet. I want to though.
I can send you mine. It's pretty weird.
I think it's on my list of shit to order from Vapor Tech because they have a bunch of shit I want. So I'll be all right, I think.
So you're talking about quart mason jars then? Come on, standard measures, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different kinds of mason jars. Like, I don't know. Chia seeds and raw calendula. It's good. Well, that would be a quart-sized jar then, Rory. Today on MixLife, Rory failed at math. Again. Your pickle's like not loud enough. It's not overpowering.
Yeah, I was trying to keep it down. I think not everybody needs to hear me crunching a pickle. I just wanted to prove that it's one of the good ones. They
do. They do need to. It's important stuff. The pickle's serious business. All right, everybody. I think that's about it for today. You had your fill of pickles for the day. Thanks to Dave and Rick.
Briny.
Have a great week, and we'll be back again next Sunday afternoon. Cheers.